Look at him. He's just dickered. Just dickered, boys. Son of a bitch.
Yo, yo. Class A, and macro. Not connected, not elected to participate. Bouncing down the stems will make your head hurt. Enjoy the takes. Says her whose head burns from hearing harvest stories. Get the gasoline.
229. Again, I should mention the shirts are ready. If you guys want to pick up a shirt, just go to takeourwide.bigcartel.com. It was designed by Wormzilla, aka Shawnee, and printed by Ironclad Graphics, who are both those guys are current sponsors. Shawnee with DFA Tattoos and Ironclad just themselves in Kingston. Yeah, it's a great way to show some love, and I have a bunch of them. So if you haven't done that, do that now. Just go to takeourwide.com, click on merch, or go to takeourwide.bigcartel.com. I should mention that before we start here. But yeah, this is episode 229 here. Let me do the sponsors here real quick. We have Heartbeat Hot Sauce. If you guys haven't heard of Hot Ones, the show, it's a great show on YouTube. It's an interview show where the host interviews celebrities, comedians, actors, musicians. The bottom line, it's a great interview show, but the whole thing is that they interview the guests while they're eating hot wings. And it's an enormous YouTube show, and Heartbeat Hot Sauce are on it this season. They're on season 6. Basically, I'm just trying to sell the product to you guys. Until you try it, I can't explain it, but it's fucking super, super good. And it's small business. It's my buddy Al and his partner Nancy who run that company from Thunder Bay. It's the peppers are fermented using traditional methods before being cooked with a few simple high-quality ingredients. There's no water added, no thickening agents or chemical preservatives of any kind, and it makes the sauce as natural as it gets. I think they have 4 different brands. They've teamed up with Cancer Bats for the release of their last album, their most recent one. And it's a really good hot sauce, and I'm super happy and super proud to be associated with those guys. So if you go to heartbeathotsauce.com and use promo code TakerWide5, you'll save 5% on the cart. So if you want to go in with some buddies and save some money, you can do that. It's a good way to save a little bit of cash, and it's a great way to support someone who is kind of following their dreams of doing something outside of the norm, making a hot sauce and slanging that shit across the country. Really good stuff. Heartbeathotsauce.com. Next, we got DFA Tattoos. As I had mentioned, that's where Shawnee's at. Shawnee owns that shop with a couple of his friends, and it's I've seen it grow from small to bigger. Currently, they are at 328 St. Catherine Est in Montreal. And I don't know, it's a collective of driven and skilled artists with the goal of creating the best tattoos. They do large scale to quick walk-ins. They believe every tattoo is important. They have artists who can handle any style, photorealism, black, color, new school, old school. I've been there. It's a comfortable place. It's a safe place. It's a clean place. And, you know, the owners there are the guys in the trenches slanging out tattoos. So 100% have faith in this shop. And if you guys are looking for a place in Montreal, go find it. You can go to dfatattoos.com. Search for them on Instagram. Follow them. I'll be posting shit on my Instagram so you can follow them. But great place, man. Super happy to be working with them. Please, if you are in Montreal, go get tatted there. Next up, we have Kevin Rigo of Hefner Toyota. Kevin is an old friend and a car salesman out in Kitchener. He's at 3121 King Street East. And if you're in the market to buy a new car, I would go see Rigo. I trust Rigo. I love Rigo. He supports this. He supports the DIY ethic. Just an all-around great guy, and he believes in the show. So if you are looking for a car, I'd say go talk to Rigo. Say hi, say you heard of him through the show, and you can get special pricing on new vehicles. So it's kind of a dope thing that he's doing there. You can search for him on Facebook, but yeah, just Kevin Rigo of Hefner Toyota. All love to him for believing in the show, and please go see him. Next, we have Ironclad Graphics. They're a screen printing shop out in Kingston who specialize in apparel printing, but they also do posters, LP inserts, koozies, hats. They can do patches, which is dope. They've done stuff like printed wood panels, aluminum blanks. They do a bunch of shit, and I've been working with them for a long time, and they're the guys who did the shirts. So if you guys are looking for some merch, I'd say go to ironcladgraphics.com. They ship coast to coast every day, and they're competitive with their pricing, for real. So if anything, just go check it out, like the page, show them some love for showing me love. Ironclad Graphics. A couple more here. We got Dapper Beard Oil. Dapper Beard Oil is run by my friend Andrew out in Ottawa. 100% natural ingredients, ethically sourced. It helps hydrate, repair your beard. Reduces beard dandruff. He's got 3 different brands, an unscented and then 2 other. He's got a gold tusk and a black tusk. It's a really good beard oil company, and it's again small business. We're mostly creators, and we have our own small business, aka bands and other little projects that we do. So I think you know this. I think you know the struggle of being a small fish in a big pond, and I don't know. I can't say if he's the big fish or the small fish, but I definitely know it's not a big scale thing. He does it himself mostly. It's from the heart. He loves to do it. And if you guys can support him, that'd be fucking great. He's been a sponsor for a long time. So just go to dapperbeardoil.com and use promo code TAKERWIDE free ship, and you'll get free shipping. So check that shit out. Also got Wellington Breweries for providing the beers. They are Canada's oldest independent-owned microbrewery. They do some really rad community-conscious events and endeavors. One I can name is 25 cents from each can of Queen of Craft Grisette gets donated to Guelph Wellington Women in Crisis. So a company with a conscience. It's cool that they're supporting this too, because I'm not a big thing, but it's very dope that they provide some beers. So all love to them. And lastly, we have Dave Levitt Photography. Dave is the homie. Dave has been my friend for a long time, pretty much since I moved to Cambridge. He does music videos and websites and promos. And if you're around 509 Cambridge, Hamilton, Toronto, you need some good work done, I'd say get a hold of Levitt. DaveLevittPhotography.ca. So that's all the sponsors, guys. And so this episode, you can see in the description, it says the KW DIY Flea Market. It's a thing I'm doing now. I'm trying to get out there and just make myself known. These flea markets are really cool to walk around and see people's art and stuff that they're selling, and that whole independent entrepreneurial spirit that I feel a part of in this podcast. And it was cool to walk around and talk to people and have them come up and check out my shit. And so it was kind of like the one I did in Kitchener or Guelph, sorry. This one is a lot less guests, but it's still cool. It was a good exercise in trying to talk to someone about why they do it and how, and yeah, I really actually honestly went into this cold. Just I didn't really have any questions, just kind of hit record and let it fly. So it's a little different than most of the episodes where I'm sitting down with one person, but it still has that same feel as the old episode. So hopefully you guys like it. Let me know after the fact. I don't know. I have a few more of these lined up, and it was fun to do. And all love to Stacie and Chris for having me in, and it was really cool. So here it is, 229. Let's go. You get the clean one.
Yeah, we played. Chris played Grabert, and then
cool.
picked out TV Freaks, which is funny. So we played it after because we saw
Sweet.
that.
Yeah. When I tuned in, you guys were playing Brain Itch.
Yes. Yeah.
I heard it and I was like, I know what this is.
Yeah.
Okay, so you are this one.
Okay.
I think. Yeah. Hey. Say something.
Hello. Hi. Hello.
Okay, perfect.
All right.
Cool. Yeah, it's cool to like hear you guys on the radio and hearing like my buddies' band play. It's nice.
Yeah.
I always wonder if people are hearing this, like what it is on the other end, like what it is for them to hear this. You know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't
Yeah.
know.
It's always a strange sort of thought to think about, like.
It's weird how it changes when you have a mic in your hand, eh?
I used to, like years ago, I used to co-host the punk show on the college station. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's a strange feeling. Yeah.
Imagine if we had a camera here on us.
No. I don't want it.
I will do a live one eventually. And it is a little, but for me it's not weird now. Like
Yeah.
I've done so many of these. But shit, so I'm here with Stacie. Stacie kind of organized this, right?
Yeah, I organize sort of the vendor end of everything. So vendors and distros, we sort of split up the duties, and then Chris and Shadi looked after the bands. So
Crazy, man. I could probably sit down with you and do a whole hour
yeah.
with you because you and Chris both are doing, like, you both care. You're both like want to help.
Yeah.
Like even this isn't an easy thing to do. Was it? Did you feel like you bit off more than you could chew with this, or was it not too bad?
You know what? Along the way, it wasn't too bad. The probably week leading up to it, I was like, holy crap! Like so many. That's when the questions come in, right? And then it's like, okay, yeah, I didn't think about that. Oh my gosh, I didn't think about that.
Because this is your first one, like aside from the one from your house, right?
Yeah, this is the first punk rock flea market in Kitchener-Waterloo. So yeah, it was a lot of support from the community and people to get this going, so it was pretty easy. They made it easy on us.
Yeah, you were saying like other people who run the other sort of flea markets were like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
And we were just saying 2 seconds ago, but like I shouldn't be surprised, but yeah, look at all the vendors. Like there's so many people that are extensions of the scene that aren't musicians, but like creators.
Absolutely.
It's really cool.
And that's the thing, right? That kind of the community draws artists and creative people alike, right? So I know it's things like this are desirable because a lot of the people that are doing this DIY stuff, there isn't a lot of medium for them to get it out there because it's so expensive. You're not going to have a storefront. A lot of different marketplaces and vendors, it can get costly, and it's a bit of a risk, right, for some DIY vendors to drop 150 on a table if you don't know if you're going to make that back, right? So this one we tried to make it accessible for that reason. So
I found that in starting to do these that they can get pricey.
Yeah.
And this was like affordable.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, and I mean it was the first one, and so we wanted to test it out, but like I said, I don't want to exclude anybody based on cost because we're all here just trying to get by, right, and trying to get our stuff out. So, yeah.
How is like I want to talk to you about this? Is like I didn't even mean to really talk about this, but Bad Egg and Sing. You made a post recently. I'm surprised with how many people were like that's so great, and like women reaching out to you. Like, how has that been for you? Because that's the first band you sang in.
I've never been in a band before. And
how's that whole experience like?
It's a little bit surreal. I mean, it's always something I've thought about doing. I've been pretty involved in music, like in the community, probably since I was 14. Going to shows at like the Spot downtown Kitchener, the Register.
Because are you from around here?
Yeah, I'm from around here. I've been here, born and raised. So, always interested. But again, the way. Like I was saying in that post, talking about how sometimes scenes can be alienating, whether intentional or not, right? For women, especially if you don't play an instrument or you're not seen as contributing to a band in that sense. People tend to discredit the fact that you're just somebody coming out to shows, which is strange to me because, like, if you wanted to play to other band members all the time, like that would be weird to me, right? Like it's nice to have like an audience or people.
So you feel like a bit, like say you go to a show as a woman, a bit alienated?
Yeah, I mean, it's not so bad. Like I said, it's hit and miss. And it depends on the shows, but yeah, I found when I was a lot younger in punk and hardcore, it was sort of like I felt like I had to prove myself, like that I felt like I had to know 1,000 things more than every guy that was out there. Just otherwise I wasn't taken seriously. And maybe that in part that's my brain and the way it works and anxiety. I hear things like that, which is hard to understand because obviously I'm a male and I view my part in the scene, my role is different. I've experienced it differently. Absolutely, yeah.
But it must be a real thing if that's how you felt. Like because you felt it doesn't mean it's not a real thing.
Yeah, exactly. And I try to think about that. And like I said, feedback I've gotten from other girls, it's the same thing. I know. Probably the closest I got to feeling pretty included or was probably about 5 or 6 years ago. There was some pretty cool stuff happening here. Jesse Billings was a guy doing a lot of house shows.
Yeah, okay.
And he had a lot of, he was in a band called Mighty Atom, and Christine McQueen was the vocalist. So between Mighty Atom, there was a band called Two Crosses. I don't know if you've ever heard them, Landman.
Yeah, I remember Jesse. I might have hit him up, and maybe I met him or no, but yeah, the name is super familiar.
And he was amazing at bringing in acts that were inclusive, queer and women oriented. And so that was great. But people move on, things change, and there wasn't anything happening here for a while, and I don't know.
So is that kind of like that void? You recognize that, and you and Chris were like, because you guys really are kind of at the forefront, I think, of this scene coming up.
I guess so. It's a really weird thing to think about. It was more of out of necessity. The last few years, it's been really difficult to find venues for music, and for venues for music that we were into. I know that sounds like a strange thing, but I mean, there's a pretty strong metal community in Kitchener-Waterloo. But again, I've never really felt super connected to that. Again, pretty male-centric. And I know for me, like me and Chris both have different approaches to it, but that's sort of why I involved myself.
Yeah.
Because I just thought it was important to contribute in some way like that.
Well, it's great. Like, you organize this, you're singing in a band. Like, it's very cool, man. It's very cool. And
Thank you.
it's just like we both know this shit's important. So and for you to open like that door wide, like, hey, like come, you know, queer, trans women, like let's
and it's never gonna be easy, and it's always gonna be uncomfortable in some way. There's so much, you know, stuff, but I do my best to try and contribute positively, you know.
I think you guys are doing such a great job, really, like, because you could do little, like there's a thing like a promoter who might get excited on the idea of it and do 1 or 2 shows and then burn out, but you guys are doing shit at your house. You stepped it up to, like, you don't have to do this, you know? But you choose to, which is great.
I think it's great. I think it's important for people to connect this way.
Do you guys have does Bad Egg have any music online right now?
No.
Okay.
We're hopefully recording throughout the summer. I think we're looking at doing maybe a release mid-September.
Okay.
We've got a couple dates lined up, one in Kitchener at the Boathouse.
When's that?
I believe it's set up for the 14th.
Okay.
And then in Toronto on the 15th. Still not sure of the venue on that one. But
sorry, August or September?
September.
September.
Sorry. Yeah, so we're hoping to have something ready for that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, shit. Is there anything online, like live clips?
There is one song that was recorded live off the floor that Dylan did, and it's on the 3-9's mixtape that he did with a bunch of.
Could I play it? Could I put it on the podcast? Like, not right now, but I'll get it after.
Absolutely, you could. I apologize in advance. We had about 4 practices.
Whatever.
And we were like, we got to get something together. So we recorded that. We had a new drummer at the time, so he probably had about 4 practices in, and we recorded it live off the floor.
Whatever, cool.
Yeah.
I'd love to, you know, just so people listening could hear it, you know,
For
at least
sure.
get an idea. And I guess if you're listening and you're around here, check out the Facebook page, or?
Yeah, we have a Facebook page. It's Bad Egg.
Bad Egg, okay.
There's a couple on there, but you'll figure it out. It's the one with me. I think the photo is just me screaming right now.
Cool.
So,
fucking right. All right, cool. Stace,
Awesome.
thank you, man. Yeah.
No problem. Thank you for coming out.
We could do another one at some point, but yeah, what you're doing here is great. Super happy to be a part of it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Cheers. So I'm here with fucking Nate. You're running No Funeral, right?
Yep.
You're set up here. I had Alberto on for the last thing I did, the last flea market I did in Guelph.
Oh, yeah.
And I was telling him that you and Alberto remind me of me and Mark when we were kids. Because, like, how old are you, man? Like 20?
22.
22?
Yeah.
So like I met Mark around that age, and you guys carry that same enthusiasm that I had. And I see it. Like, fuck, like, you guys are set up with this. You're throwing shows. And what I asked him this too, but it starts somewhere, right? Like, we're here now. Fucking other people we went to school with did sports or did this or did that. But, like, why? Why do you give a shit? Why do you like music? How'd you get into it? What does it mean to you? I guess, how did you get into it? Why are you, like, so stoked on fucking music?
Because everybody else liked stupid shit.
Yeah?
And the kids who were into music were just cooler.
So
just
was it
nicer.
When you were in school, was it were you kind of a jockey kid, or were you kind of like an outsider kid, or like?
I remember in grade 2, there was these kids who used to skateboard.
In grade 2.
In grade 2.
Holy shit.
And there's this one kid. He taught me the word fuck. And I was like, oh, this kid, he knows what's up. And he skateboards. He likes Tony Hawk, and he showed me Sum 41. I was like, whoa, this is edgy. I
so
like
that's
this.
the first time you heard something like that gnarly?
Yeah, it started with like Sum 41, Blink-182. And then as I got older, like got into more metal stuff, heavier stuff.
You know what I think, man? When you're, like, I talk about this a lot on the show, is that when you're a kid, you're so easily influenced, and shit that's like naughty or edgy is appealing.
Yeah.
And like for me, that's what it was. It's like, oh, this. For me, it was like a lot of new metal, but it was like, oh, this shit is dangerous, you know. And you like can participate in it while still being a kid and feeling part of like something that's, at least for me with metal, was like, oh, like I'm part of like something maybe that's kind of taboo. Did you feel like any sort of like, were your parents like, oh, why do you like punk rock or anything like that?
Yeah, my parents were always like super supportive of music. Like they would like burn me CDs. My dad would ask if I like Limp Bizkit. I'd be like, Dad, fuck, Limp Bizkit sucks.
How old's your dad?
He's young. They had me when my mom was 17.
Okay.
So they're like 40 now.
It's crazy. I'm 35, so they're
yeah.
just 5 years older than me.
So like I remember going through as a kid finding like Smashing Pumpkin CDs and like Guar CDs in my dad's collection.
Holy shit! So your dad's like a cool dad.
Yeah, he's not at all. Now he listens to Top 40, and I call him lame all the time. But I always make fun of him. No, the coolest thing she had was like a Bush CD back in the day.
Fuck it. Which do you remember which one?
What was it? I don't know.
Razorblade Suitcase?
It's got to be Razorblade Suitcase.
I used to listen to
that.
It's
got like that noise track at the beginning. It's really weird.
Does it have is it a darker purple green
yeah,
cover?
Yeah,
okay. Maybe that Razorblade Suitcase was an album I listened to in high school to be depressed. That was my like super depressing album.
It was, yeah, that's probably the coolest thing that my mom.
That's cool.
My mom was into.
So they supported. They were like, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Our kids into like music.
They would just tell me like, oh, you got to skip the track that swears on the Sum 41 album. Just on the Does This Look Infected? This is that song that's all Anna Nicole is a cunt, and it's just all swear words. And they're like, you this is cool, but you got to skip that one. And I was a good kid. I listened. I skipped that song. It was like 40 seconds.
Yeah.
I'd show all my friends, but.
So you know what I think is like from school to now. I remember when I started getting into music and playing music, it seemed like a bunch of other people did, but a lot of people fall off.
Yeah.
Do you, like, you're obviously still into it. Did you notice a lot of people kind of, because you're a kid, you'll fucking try a bunch of shit. I love soccer. I love sports. I love bands. The people you kind of came up with, did a lot of them stop being music fans, or are all of them still kind of around?
No, I've got like 3 friends, which would be like Marley, Megan, and Alberto. Like the people who do No Funeral with me and the people who help me book shows, they're really the only ones that are still around. And we talk about it all the time, like just people drop out of music because they never really gave a shit in the first place, I guess.
Yeah.
Like it's just like a hobby, whereas like now it's a lifestyle. Like everything I do is involving music. I tell all my friends now, you know, if you want to hang out, you got to come to a show. Like if you want to do something, it has to be music involved because I don't have time for anything else. Just put all my time into, you know, running the label, booking shows, playing in bands.
So that was kind of the did you feel like there's a responsibility to throw shows? Because like, you know, like
sure.
you and Chris and them, outside of you guys, like, I don't know. It's great that you guys are doing things, because if you guys aren't, like, who else is? Like, did you feel that? Like, I need
Yeah,
to.
yeah.
I'm responsible for this now. I'm kind of carrying the torch.
I hate booking shows. It's my least favorite thing to do.
Shows, it sucks, man.
Super stressful. But the music that's on the label, like the more like true screamo stuff, no one is doing that. No one is doing that outside of Toronto. Even in the States, like it's not the biggest genre. It's a very tiny community. And they used to have some stuff in Hamilton, but all the people moved away. Like Dave Norman from Zegma Beach Records, like he did all the screamo shows in Hamilton, and then like the Respired guys do it in Toronto. But other than Toronto now, there's nothing. So trying to bring that here, trying to bring it to KW.
It's fucking dope that you guys are bringing touring bands to Cambridge. Because, like, I'm 35, so there was an era when Cambridge was pulling, like, 100, 150 kids to a show, touring bands like the Disgust guys used to throw, like, big, massive fests. And it's important that... But it's a job in its own sense that
for sure.
It's not easy to do.
It's a job you don't get paid for.
No, but it's a thing like you obviously love to do it. Now with the fucking No Funeral Records, what is there like? How much of it is a business? How much of it are you investing in? Like how much of your time is it taking?
I was fortunate enough to work for Zegma Beach Records before. So when Dave moved away, he moved to New Zealand. And I talked to him and I said, like, you can't take all your records to New Zealand. You have a lot of records. And I will help you. Send me records. I'll sell them at shows. I'll run your online store. I'll do all that. So all of that was out of his pocket. I was fortunate enough to, like, be involved in that. And from that, you know, I didn't make any money. I would just take records here and there. You know, every time we put out a new release, I'd keep a personal copy. And the rest of the money would just get, I guess, reinvested. I just sent him all the cash.
Okay.
And he would deal with all that.
So you learned a lot through him.
Oh, I learned everything through him about running a label. It's like just like DIY ethics and everything. He doesn't make any money. Everything. He's just constantly. Even when he was in New Zealand, he has a kid on the way, or I guess just had his kid. He didn't stop. It was like a release a month. Like I don't know where he's getting his cash from, but you could tell it's the label. It's a passion project for sure.
Are you at the point where, like, are you losing too much money? Because it's like even a band, like at some point you just can't lose money. Like I'm at that point, like I can't afford to lose money. Like are you kind of like in 5 years if things don't get better, do you see yourself stopping it? Because you have to fucking pay your bills and eat, and normal life continues outside of our passions.
Right now, with No Funeral, I have not put much money into it because it's a new thing. Because I just recently stopped doing ZBR stuff. It's only now in the past couple months that it's transferring over to my own thing, which is No Funeral.
Okay.
So the plan now is to sell off all the remaining Zegma Beach stuff I have, send all that money to Dave, start fresh. Starting out as a distro, so hopefully we can make pocket change off that. But with No Funeral, everything I have planned is very small runs.
Like what's a small run to you, like 50?
25.
Okay.
We have a band, Young Mountain from Sweden.
Cool.
There's a couple labels involved doing tapes. Everyone gets exclusive artwork, exclusive colors.
Oh, cool.
And I'm doing 25 copies. I'm sending the band their free copies.
Now, is it cassettes or?
Cassettes.
Okay, yeah.
This will be a cassette thing. As of right now, no vinyl is planned, just because of the price involved.
That's it, man. Well, that's it. Like it's you have to kind of bite the bullet at some point when it's like me. It's like this. Like there's certain costs I've had to just eat because I want it to grow, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And like, cassette labels are totally as legit as vinyl labels and this
for
and that.
sure.
But vinyls, there's just always something special about vinyl. Like I don't know why. Like a cassette is a physical thing, a CD is a physical thing, but like vinyl.
Vinyl's real.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like it's harder to get, so it's like it's harder work to get, so it means more. I don't know.
With ZBR, a lot of the times, many labels will be involved with the release. So it'd be a couple from Europe, a couple from the States, and then usually the one Canadian label, which would be us. We'd all pitch in, and we'd all pay for our own personal copies. That way, one label is not fronting the $1,000 to press a 12-inch. It's split up between 5 labels. They pay for the copies they get. and it makes it a lot easier that way.
Yeah.
So vinyl definitely is possible in the future for No Funeral. It's just you're gonna be very picky.
Yeah, you have
Because,
to be, man.
We're still sitting on stock from 3 years ago.
Man, I'm sitting on stock from like 15 years
Yeah.
ago.
It's hard to move if you have a lot of copies of something, or say like if a band doesn't tour with a label, that's hard. I've been asked by many bands like to put out stuff. I'm like, well, do you play shows? No, we don't really play shows. Well, then
That's smart, man.
Sorry.
Shit. That's really cool because as much as some people might poo-poo that, but it's like, no, listen, like it costs money. You can't just be a nice guy and lose money because the band rips. Like, well, they have to do work too.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not a one-ended deal.
I mean, there's this band Yakutia from Hamilton.
Okay.
They're like a black gaze band, kind of like Death Heaven,
Okay.
but better.
Whatever.
But they're buddies of mine, and I love their stuff, but they don't play shows. And I told them, like, I'll do a CDR release for you. You know, I'll do something super cheap, and I'll give you your free copies, and I will attempt to break even on it. But if you want something big, like if you want like tapes or like vinyl's out of the question for something like that.
Yeah.
But for even like a cassette, like I can't pay $3 each and do 25 cassettes for you.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna sell 2 copies
Yeah.
and have the rest sit there for 3 years, end up giving them away.
How are people buying physical? That's a real question I have. Everyone's gone digital, so it's like, where are the kids buying like physical copies? So your label, you have physical copies, but do you feel that you're like, fuck, like people would rather get the digital, or do you see people buying physical things?
In Toronto, people buy physical copies. You go to Toronto, I find it's in the genre, like screamo is very collector centric, like everyone wants everything, which is nice, but there's still only 5 kids. Like I find every time I distro at a show, it's always the same people who spend a lot of money. Like if I go to Toronto, there's a couple people who like I can guarantee like every time I'm there, they'll buy a couple records.
Cool.
Usually, maybe every so often you'll get a random person come up, check it out. But for the most part, like it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. Even to get people to flip through the records and just look at them is like, you got to go up, you got to schmooze, you got to have a long conversation, and that's not me. I don't like doing that. I like to sit back. And if you care, you care, but it doesn't work out that way.
Yeah, it's hard. I was talking about this earlier, where putting value onto art as an artist and as someone on sort of this end of it. Obviously, we know how much the value is to us personally, but it's like, here's what I think it is, and it means everything to me. Please spend $10 on it. And it's not always easy to get someone to spend their money on your art, and that's an extent. Even like the label, that's your art. That's an extension of you. It's not easy. It's commendable to fucking try and start a label and try, fuck it, see what happens.
I've had people complain about $15 LPs. I've had people complain about $5 7-inches, saying it's too much.
That's
like,
crazy.
You go into a store and find that, and I'll give you my whole label for free.
Yeah.
Because you can't. Most bands don't even sell their records for $15 anymore. The amount of money that a label puts in, especially smaller labels, like it's more than $5 to press a 7-inch.
Yeah.
So selling them at $5,
you're losing
money.
Yeah.
But if I put it at $7, not a single human being will buy it.
Yeah. It's tricky, man. It's a whole art. It's really fascinating when people actually somehow stay above water, especially in the aggressive, less mainstream type of music. Like, the more it veers away from that mainstream, like, the harder it is to make your money back. That's why, like, a band like Portal, I don't know how well they do, but they're like outliers in, like, they're really extreme. But I don't know. Maybe they don't sell a ton of records. I don't fucking know. Maybe they do. I think they do, but I could be wrong. Who fucking knows? We'll find out. Sign them. Let me know. Do a run of it. I actually want to ask you too about the band. I forgot the name. You were singing in the noise. Is it No Funeral, or is that?
There's a couple things. I do a noise thing under No Funeral, which the name of that is probably going to change.
Okay.
Just because it confuses with the label. And then there's Karloff, which is a screamo band.
That's where I saw you. I saw you played Cambridge, right?
No, that is Sclera.
Okay, Sclera.
That's
okay.
like a weird power violence-y thing we have.
That's Alberto, right?
No.
Dude, what's the band with Alberto?
That's Karloff.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Alberto does like samples for us in Sclera just because we didn't have it figured out.
Do you have music online for that?
There is a video of the What Up Dog show from Sclera.
Okay.
Karloff, our tape is coming out July 19th at
Okay.
our show with Respire and Ostraka.
July 19th. That's coming up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, shit. I'll find it. I'll hit you up
Yeah.
after, and I'll put it in. Like I'm gonna release this show.
Cool.
So I'll play it, and then people, who listen to the podcast can hear it.
Nice.
So how do people find you? Like, if people want to buy stuff, search your distro, like online.
I'm working on an online shop right now. It's hard because I always ran everything through the Zegma Beach thing, and when that stopped, I have to make my own store. But I still have a shit ton of Zegma Beach stuff,
Okay.
so I have to take pictures of every record individually and price everything and do all that. So it is a lot of work to run an online store. It's a huge pain in the ass.
But is there a Facebook?
So now there's a Facebook page that I do, just No Funeral Records.
Okay.
And then, or contact me directly, Nate Downey on Facebook.
Okay.
Always works.
Cool. Yeah, I'll play it after. I'll play some. What's the video you have up? Sclera? No.
Sclera.
Okay.
It's not that good. It was a drunken mess that night.
Yeah.
Sclera is just like a weekday band for when Karloff can't jam.
That was the What Up Dog show last week?
Yeah.
It got shut down?
Did not get shut down.
Okay, I thought someone called the bylaw
Yeah,
on that.
bylaw came and they said you need to turn it down, and we worked with it, waited for bylaw to leave, and then we started playing again.
Okay. So everyone got to play.
Everyone got to play. Yeah,
Okay.
it was three bands.
Very cool.
Block Parent, Father Bodies, and then Sclera.
You know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I went to the show.
Mm-hmm.
I ordered a What Up Dog.
Yes.
I got it cold, frozen basically.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, whatever, make me another one. And I went and I was watching more of Block Parent. I'm like, okay, it's been about 20 minutes. My dog should be ready. And I'm like, hey, I'm back for my dog. And they're like, oh, we didn't make it. And I was hungry. I was mad. I fucking left. I was like,
yeah,
fuck all this.
there's a couple stories. What Up Dog is a funny place. It's good. Todd's a good dude, but it's
cool they
it's
did
hit
a
or
show.
miss. Yeah.
It's cool they did a show.
They're putting on like a hip hop thing in the future. I think August 25th.
Huh.
So they're gonna keep doing stuff. Hopefully it goes well. But,
Hopefully their dogs are hot, and hopefully bylaw doesn't get called.
Yeah.
Well, Nate, man, thank you, man. I just wanted to pick your brain. Fucking, I'll play it after, and yeah, that's it. People listening, check out Nate's shit. He's doing rad shit.
Cool. Thank
Cheers.
you.
Hi, word. Hey, yo, I'm Steve.
Hi, I'm Alex. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, man. Are you from here?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
KW local.
Cool. So we're at the flea market. Are you playing later, or are you just a fan, or like what brings you here?
I'm actually here tabling with a friend of mine, Wendy.
Okay.
Runs the Meow Boutique, but I'm just selling a novel and some poems.
Cool.
But
Cool.
But yeah, I am a musician though, just not at this one.
So are you like grew up around here? Or?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
right.
This thing is super dope. I've mentioned this maybe already, but this is an extension of the scene. Like we're creative people, and we have creative outlets. Some of which are bands, some of which are art, posters and stuff like that. And I'm just feeling the vibe of this place. Everyone's like happy and like, here's my shit, here's your shit.
Well, everybody's so curious, right?
Yeah, it's like a really cool show and tell for adults.
Yeah, that's a perfect way to put it.
Yeah, I kind of laugh. Like, that's kind of what it is. But yourself, like, this whole podcast is me talking to musicians and artists and creators and music lovers. It means a lot to me, and obviously I know it means a lot to a lot of the people, but everyone has a path and it leads them different ways. But when you were a kid, why did you get into music? Why was it cool? Did you have an older sibling or something? Like, you're here now at the punk rock flea market, but there's a story to why you're here. And it's like, why?
Well, the short answer, it's because my cousin became a better actor than I was, so I had to pick something new.
So you tried to be an actor, or
are
still, or
I had aspirations when I was younger, when I was a teenager. But
how far did you pursue it? Like, did you?
I was just theater stuff when I was in high school, so late teens kind of thing.
Okay.
But but I also eventually kind of cottoned on to music. I didn't think I liked music for the longest time, but it just didn't like what was popular, and then I kind of raided my parents' record, discovered kind of some of the old gems like Queen, Chicago, and just these different kind of sounds. And
that's interesting, because I think a lot of us are exposed to obviously mainstream stuff at first, and a lot of mainstream stuff is kind of whack. So was it through your parents, kind of they were a portal into cool, good music, or was it like I don't know how old you are, but like was it them or was it something else?
It was originally them, just kind of old stuff they had kicking around, the old record collection. And then just from there, I was just kind of on my own, able to kind of follow all the rabbit trails. Thanks to the advent of the Wikipedia.
Yeah.
I could follow the internet into all those related old bands, and
man, that
it was a whole new world of sound.
Yeah, it's really cool how like I'm sure we're kind of the same age, where like LimeWire or Napster, when that was coming out, like
Morpheus.
You can get exposed to so much goddamn shit, and it's kind of a shame that people might not realize that there are really cool bands. Because I can think of Green Day when Dookie came out, and when I was a kid, thinking like, oh, I had this version of bands where it's like, oh, this is their one song that is good and the rest of the album sucks. And when I realized like, oh no, a whole album can be fantastic, that was like, oh, I need to check out more and more shit. But I think, like, do you think people maybe don't get as enthusiastic about music because they haven't been exposed to like good music? Like, you're lucky you had your parents who had good music. I kind of think that might be the case.
Well, I think everybody needs a doorway in. And if you don't find the right door, you kind of run into an Alice in Wonderland situation where there's 1,000 doors, but none of them fit your size. You either can't reach, or it's too small to fit through.
For sure.
But you find that one door that's the right size. And for me, it was some of my parents' old music. And then from there, I kind of got an understanding of how music can make you feel, and then that allowed me to expand my taste from there into even stuff that I didn't necessarily understand before.
Yeah,
but I had that doorway through those older records.
It's a language. Music is a language.
Absolutely.
That the more you know how to speak it, like, cause like, so when you're a kid, for me it was nu metal, easily digestible metal.
Yeah.
But I've like grown a vocabulary of music to be able to appreciate stuff that I might not have when I was a kid, which is a skill in itself. But it starts somewhere, right? Like.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Music is a language.
I think
Chomsky had this theory about language, where it's that we, as human beings, the thing that sets us apart is we have the innate understanding to form language and communicate with it. But we are only exposed to certain structures. But what we need to understand is inherent to like kind of our brains and how the mind works. So if you can get that one thing in, for you it was new metal, for me it was Queen.
Yeah, good music.
Yeah, good music. It teaches you not just the language, but how the language works. And then that's how you can find all those other things.
So nowadays, like, it's a kind of a question of when you consume music. I'm busy. I don't really listen to as much music as I would like. I remember I went to my buddy's place a couple weekends ago, and he doesn't have kids, and he can listen to his music loud. And it was like, oh, I miss this. I don't really consume music that way anymore. But how do you consume music nowadays? Digitally in headphones, or record player at home, or like in the morning, at night, or is it like not so much? I don't know. We get busy as we get older, so it, schedules and shit changes.
Yeah, it's decreased, and I think part of the reason I don't listen to as much music is because of how much more it means to me. I can't just have it in the background anymore. It always distracts me. I always want to focus on it and give it kind of the attention I think it deserves.
Cool.
But I'd say these days I keep the record player hooked up for sure, and then it's usually in the car. I load up stuff onto my phone. I've got one of those radio adapters.
Word. Yeah.
And then I could just drive and listen, and nothing's going to distract me. Aside from maybe some guy changing lanes without signaling. But
get so into the music, like crash your car.
It gets dangerous singing along sometimes.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I that kind of stops me from listening to bands and music because it's sort of the same thing. Like, I don't want to passively listen to this new record of this band that I kind of like. I need to sit. Sometimes it's like I might want to smoke some weed and like sit with it for the full length of it and look at the artwork and the liner work, which is harder to do now than ever. But
it makes it more difficult to kind of get into new stuff because it takes that kind of premeditated action.
Yeah, and I'm not a guy that can multitask. I can't consume an album and also do something else. Like, I kind of need to sit with it with no distractions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is how many of us get a pocket of time with no distractions. Even our phones are enough of a distraction that I should get rid of it, actually. That's cool. Like, I like talking about why people like music, why you're here. With like digital and physical copies, it's a thing of like getting people to buy your stuff, and like even an album or original artwork. Do you still make an effort to buy physically, or make an effort to buy digitally, or like how? Or are you like a guy that subscribes to Apple Music? I don't know. There's so many ways to get music now. How do you get it?
When I can, I really like to buy physical for a couple reasons. One, I like the tactile, just having it in my hands, being able to look at the artwork, through the liner notes. I'm releasing a CD next week.
Oh, cool.
The group's called Alex Gage's Flagship. We're doing a show at the Jazz Room just down the street here in Waterloo.
Okay, cool. So you pressed it to CD?
Pressed it to CD, and that was really important to me. Like, it would have been much easier to just, go through, do all my digital licensing. But for me, it almost doesn't have that same presence in the world unless it has that physical manifestation where you're like, yes, I made a thing here. I made something. It's tactile. You can feel it. You can smell it if you really want to.
Yeah.
But, and also, too, it's something you can take it with you. It's always going to work. Your license isn't going to expire.
Very true.
Once you own a physical copy, it's not going to disappear with an Apple update or something.
It 100% to me adds value on a whole to what it is. Like, if I see a band that has, really, if I'm going to be real, if I ever see a band that has kind of like a dub, low quality cassette, and a band that has like a vinyl, to me it's like, well, they really believe in what they're doing, or they're really stupid that they pressed it to vinyl. Like, it elevates it in a way. And CDs are interesting. So you didn't want to do cassettes? Like, what brought you to CDs? Was it a connect you had, or do you listen to CDs primarily? Like, I listen to a lot of CDs too.
I listen to a lot of CDs because I do a lot of listening in my car, so when it's not on my phone, I usually will have a CD.
Have a CD, okay.
But I like the CD because it's a versatile medium, because you can always burn it to your computer and, throw your however many of the songs you want onto your phone or whatever you use to listen to digital music.
Vinyl's crazy expensive too.
And vinyl costs a lot, and it costs a lot to make.
Yeah.
And not a lot of people have access to it, so I feel like with the CD, as someone putting it out, that gives me kind of the greatest audience I can reach.
Well,
also, I love cassettes, but the audio quality does kill me. Unless I'm really in the mood to like, sometimes I'm like, I want to listen to a cassette. But it's like I want to listen to a cassette more than any, specific music. It's kind of nostalgic, but
that's a part of it. I feel, the nostalgia to a cassette or vinyl, even if you're like a real old head.
Yeah,
that's a good point though. A CD is, as a record player, like you buy the record, you also have to have a record player.
Yeah.
And a cassette player too. Like not a lot of people have cassette players. I see people searching a lot. Huh? How many did you do? Like 100 or 500?
I made 300.
Okay.
Figuring let's just buy them once and not have to worry about it. Also, then that way it's some mechanical details. Just get a proper master cut and and everything like that.
Who'd you go through? Did you?
I used a CD Baby online.
Okay.
So, and then that way it also took care of all the licensing stuff and whatnot.
Yeah. Cool. So like, what is that band? Like it's you singing or you?
Yeah. So it's a solo project of mine.
Okay.
So it's kind of a vessel for. It's kind of between an ego trip and just a really genuine expression of wanting to make music the way I'd like to.
Word.
So I found out I can't actually just do the singer-songwriter thing. So I had to put together a bit of a band. It's all people I went to school with in Toronto. So they're all jazz musicians, world musicians.
Okay.
I'm classically trained, but it's all rock music. It's kind of like a prog rock.
Okay.
Sort of idea.
So so you're gonna do next month you're releasing?
Next week.
Next week.
Next week. So it releases digitally because I'm also doing that because it is 2018.
Yeah.
Releases digitally on the 13th of July, and July 14th we're launching the physical album, which is the card I'm most excited about.
Cool. Wow.
Just at the Jazz Room, yeah.
Sweet. And then like past that, what else do you have planned for it?
Well, working on booking some shows. It was a little difficult to get everyone's schedules lined up. It's a septet right now, so everyone's very busy.
I'm in a two-piece, and
that's enough,
easy
right?
enough, but like add one more person and it really throws a cog in the wheel.
Yeah.
That's exciting,
so
man.
We're gonna hit Waterloo, and we're gonna bring into Toronto in August 18th, I think, at Duffy's Tavern.
Cool.
And then I'm looking at setting up a proper string of shows in the fall.
All right.
Tour it around a bit.
That's exciting. Like a buddy called it Peter Panning, and it's so true.
Oh, absolutely.
It's exactly what it is. Like when you're a kid and you put your marker on the CDR and like do some art, it's your idea physically there, and that never gets old. Like that's exciting, man. Like so how do people check it out? Like is there a Bandcamp or?
Yeah. So right now people can. We're on Facebook, Alex Gage's Flagship. On Instagram, same thing. We've got a Bandcamp page, SoundCloud page. If you just search in the bar, Alex Gage's Flagship, it'll come up.
Cool.
And as of next week, you can find it on Spotify, iTunes, all that.
Cool.
Or come to the Jazz Room and buy a CD.
Yeah, shit. Yeah, some of my listeners are from around here, so yeah. The Jazz Room.
The Jazz Room.
Okay. Cool. Well, that's kind of it. I just pick people's brains. That's the whole point of the show, man.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure talking to you.
Yeah, thank you, man. Yeah, fucking A.
Take me down to the promised land where love will understand, and everybody will be broken into man. Come to stand by the road tonight. By the bread, know that I struggle in this belief that man will be proven in his disbelief. sanctuary. There is no respite. Not in this world and not in afterlife. So come on up. Take my hand, take my mind. To live in love is not to give up on the fighting. I will see my promised land. Prostrate on the burning sand. When you become who you are, what you are has been taken from your head.
Yeah, the whole thing is I just talk to music lovers. Like you
Right.
play in a band, right?
Yeah.
Like so, I guess. Well, so say your name so people know who I'm talking to.
I'm Marcel Brusu.
And you play with.
I play in Karloff, Sclera, and other random things.
Okay, cool. We're here at the Kitchener-Waterloo DIY presents flea market here at Chainsaw.
I think it's Kitchener-Waterloo-Cambridge. I think this is KWC.
Oh wow, Cambridge made it. Cool. I feel like Cambridge is like the little brother. The little brother that gets kind of excluded from the club. Are you from Cambridge or are you from
No,
here?
I'm from Waterloo.
Okay. So yeah, the whole thing is like we play music because it's cool, but it started somewhere, right? When you were a kid, was it an older sibling or your parents, or like how did you get exposed to it?
Well, my brother got me into music, and I was like, I grew up in a really Christian household.
Okay.
And my brother got me into bands like The Chariot.
Okay.
And stuff like that. So that's what I listened to middle school, and then stuff like that. I went down kind of that path for a while, and then started to discover other stuff later on in high school. And
was it because it was a religious family? What was it limited what you could listen to?
Yeah, I didn't listen to anything other than Christian metal for
What are some other Christian metal bands? I know The Chariot's a big one, right?
Yeah, there weren't too many great. I don't listen to most of these bands these days, but I mean Norma Jean too.
Oh, I didn't know they were a Christian band.
I mean started out Josh Goggin, Chariot vocalist used to be in Norma Jean.
Oh, sorry, say it again?
Josh Goggin, the vocalist of The Chariot, used to be in Norma Jean.
Okay.
And bands bands like All Turns Red and
okay,
stuff
I didn't know
that and
But you kind of your brother.
My older brother.
Did he stray? Was he check out fucking? I don't know.
No, he was strictly Christian stuff. So I was with that stuff for a while, and then I was there's other cool stuff.
So when did you kind of start getting exposed to other stuff?
Grade 9 and stuff like that. So in high school I started, but it was still I stuck in I just got into prog metal and stuff like that for a while. But
were your parents cool with it, or was it?
No,
kind of
they would
They'd be upset
I was in a really not a band that I'm not too proud of nowadays.
We all have those bands, man.
It was metalcore with 8 strings. It was
word. Dude, I can show you pictures of me in high school with overalls and painted faces and
Yeah.
like very Slipknot worship.
Yeah, I was playing a pod through a bass amp, like a Fender like Rumble
Cool,
500. It's hilarious.
So like you're a kid, your parents are religious, they're cool with you listening to like religious stuff as long as it's
Sort of,
religious. But
roughly.
like when you started playing in your own bands, like at some point you break free from your parents' sort of bubble. What was that like? Was it easy for them or was it they didn't like it?
No, it was like not really, but like I just wouldn't talk to them much about music. So it's just like parents. I still like don't music wise. It's like you know, like I had to move out recently because of like conflicts with that. But like it's I have like a very fundamentalist family, so it's like Christian family. So it's
makes it difficult, I'm sure.
yeah, but it's like, you know, we get along in certain things, but music is not one of those things, and it's like. So we just don't talk about it much anymore, and we kind of get to a point where it's just like it's not just don't need to talk about it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Now does that like strengthen your resolve to continue like doing aggressive music, or is that a thing that's kind of like an anchor in your foot that you're always kind of dragging? Because like
it's probably subconsciously, but I don't really think about it too much. It's like I'm sure it contributed to like my like angst and all that stuff from like high school. I'm sure it did.
Yeah.
But like it's just like, you know, I still get along with like my mom and my parents in general and my family, but like we just don't it's just in different ways, you know, like doesn't have to be music as much as it's important for me, but it doesn't necessarily have to be like, you know, there's other things we have in common and stuff. We just like family, like, you know, family's always family, so it's not.
Man, for real, man. Like, why would you cut that off? Like, I love music so much that I'm gonna like cut off my family. That seems silly, you know? Like, why shut that door? Family's family.
Yeah.
But like, everyone has a story to why they play music, and you're here now playing and still doing it. Now, like, so you're a kid, your brother gets you into it.
Yeah.
What was your first band? Do you remember your first gig? Like, was it original music or was it your own music?
Yeah. First thing I played was actually like myself playing at a school talent show, doing like my own music on like acoustic. I mean on my 8-string, like
like distorted, like
no, like clean stuff. Like I was like going through like one of those, I don't even know what you call it, but like prog, but like, I'm versatile, so I play my guitar clean as well.
Like I'm a true artist.
Yeah. So this is like my grade 9, like, hey, I'm trying out different things. It wasn't that great, but
how many songs? Was it one song or like, do you remember?
I think I played 2 songs, something like that.
So was it literally just you and the guitar
and
was just singing?
No, not singing.
Just you playing?
Yeah, just playing.
Okay,
just like instrumental, quote unquote, prog.
Prog, yeah. 9th grade prog.
Not real, yeah.
That's still, like, looking back though, think of it. Like if you were in the crowd, this kid playing in front of his school, like that's terrifying. Like
it was
sticking
terrifying.
out in front of your school.
But it was like I was terrified to play music in front of people. Even then. Sorry, I don't know if
I just wanted to make sure I'm recording.
Yeah. It was terrifying, and then we played my band, which I don't want to say the name of.
Whatever.
Just the name itself is so.
Dude,
but,
I have terrible band names. I can just bring them off.
But yeah, no. So we played. We played a house show in our vocalist's basement, which was actually sweet. It was a great time.
Cool.
And I was like more of like the backup guitars, like rhythm guitar sort of.
Okay.
So like I wasn't really writing the songs. It was all original music, but like it wasn't as much pressure on me because the other guitarists wrote most of the music, and I was just kind of like figuring this stuff out. And yeah.
Do you like coming up? I talked about this earlier with Nate about when you're a kid and you try out different things. Do you still have a lot of friends that were playing music and into music then that you still hang out with now, or is it like a smaller number of people who are still playing, still going to shows?
Well, like I know a lot of people that I knew back then definitely have stopped playing music, but like there's still a few that I keep in touch with. It's largely because like we diverged a lot in terms of like personality and music taste. Like it really changed.
Yeah.
So like we don't just like that's a main reason I think we're not in touch anymore. But like and I don't think they're playing music anymore. But at least
it'll happen. Like
Yeah.
to the point you have different tastes and
Yeah.
people spread apart.
like I think our old drummer, he's doing folk stuff, like just like singer-songwriter. He's actually a good singer.
Cool.
It's pretty cool, but I haven't kept in touch as much, which kind of sucks. But sorry, getting back to your point, but it's sorry.
I don't even remember my point.
I mean, your question was like,
No, your buddies that you like still. I think.
Why do I still keep doing it?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
I actually I stopped doing music for a while.
Really? Why?
In grade 11, for about like 3 years, I stopped doing music. Like actually,
just ran its course?
No. I had a weird idea. It's like my brothers and stuff were they're like talk about like, oh, you know, like they're drilling into my head that like you gotta get a job and stuff like that. So like that was drilling into my head, and then like at the same time I discovered I was like actually good at like programming and stuff. And I wasn't really too confident about my guitar skills. I still play guitar like almost every day, but like I wasn't really writing it and stuff like that. So for a while I stopped doing that, and then like after a while I was like, this is so stupid. Like you know, like I went through some pretty like life-changing stuff in my own life, and then that just kind of started me thinking about like what do I really need to do, you know? It's like there's a lot of things I've been like wanting to express, and I've been searching for a long time for like musical outlets to do it, and it's taken me a long time to actually find musicians to jam with, and it's just like I've recently been found a lot of people to jam with, and it's
such a great thing if you have things to express.
Yeah,
music is such a raw way to do it. It's so physical.
Yeah.
And like it's literally like you're getting shit out.
Yeah. There was this the best thing about like there's this drummer. I was in Toronto for 8 months last year, and just like on a contract doing programming stuff, and I was meeting a lot of musicians there.
Okay.
And there was one drummer I started jamming with, and it was like it was just improv, like just for like we'd book like 2-hour jam, and we just like record everything.
Okay.
And by the end of it, we get like 12 songs every jam.
Okay.
And it's just like that was like very like I don't know. It was
therapeutic.
Like, yeah, it was like I'm a bad vocalist, but like I was like just like screaming and stuff like that, and like not like yelling and like singing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And playing like it wasn't like necessarily like even like punk or anything, but it was just like I was like I mean I don't know, I don't listen to much anymore, but like I was like super in bands like Swans and Slint and stuff like that, and just like doing that, like trying to make like super intense music. So doing like I was jamming, that was like really cool, because I've been like I had these like things I wanted to do for a long time, and finally found someone that's like on the same wavelength, and it's like just
that's
like,
hard to find, eh?
Yeah, it's really hard to find, and he lives far away, so it's like I haven't jammed with him since like last year. It kind of sucks, but like I've been doing other stuff like my band Karloff and stuff. It's like it's not the same, and I mean this is the stuff I've been most proud of that I've ever done.
Cool.
To be honest, so
that's cool, man. It's like, what would you do without it?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, do you see yourself just doing it forever, or?
Yeah,
like
I mean, definitely, I can see like the things that inspire me now. I can see that changing in the future. Like, I'm not gonna be like this like really angsty kid forever, you know?
Yeah.
I'm still like, I can like take a step back and realize that I'm definitely. Like there's a high chance that these type of things that I want to express are gonna go away, but like in terms of doing music and stuff, like
can't see yourself stopping.
I don't really see it. It's like it's one of the things that like actually, you know, like, I do love programming, like don't get me wrong, but it's a different kind of creativity. Like it's so creative, but it's not it's like it's not as like in the moment. It's not as like it's not just like music. I don't understand the creativity involved there, you know? It's like something just happens and you go with it, whatever. Like but with programming, it's like you're researching for a long time, and then you have like you still have an idea, but like it's a bit more.
Is it like
it's a bit more methodical?
Methodical.
Yeah. Like music, I don't like. I did study like I I'm not completely illiterate with like music theory, but like there's still a lot of stuff I don't really know, and it's like when I'm like writing music, I have no idea what's going on. It's like it's just like something
it's exciting, I think.
Yeah, you don't. It's not. I don't want to try to understand it. So it's like it's a very different. It's a different type of creativity, and it's like I don't see how I can express that in like other things I do, and I don't see myself wanting to not express that in future. So
that's like pretty. So it's a thing. I love talking to people about it because it's a different angle on doing it. Like, we are doing the same thing. We're playing, creating from nothing.
Right.
But where is that coming from? Intention. And that's the cool thing about all this, man. I'm being so reinvigorated by meeting you guys, all you guys, man. Like, it makes me optimistic. It makes me excited again because like it can get old and redundant.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
You get on a path, you write an album, you play a show, it just repeats and repeats. But I love talking to people about it, man, because it's like right now I'm like I want to go and try to do something on my own that I might not have had the balls or the inspiration to.
Yeah. Like there's definitely I notice like for myself, it's like sometimes you like it's really easy to like try to do something creative and just like go down a path and like realizing like you lose what you're originally trying to do and it just becomes kind of like meaningless what you're trying to do. Like it's easy to just like create stuff just to create stuff, but there's like I know this is a tangent, sorry, but like
no, dude, that's the whole fucking thing.
Yeah,
it's a conversation.
Yeah, but like it's there. I think music should have there should be like a reason behind it. You're not just like you're not just playing to play. Like as much as I love prog, there's a lot of prog musicians that are just like it gets kind of like obnoxious in my opinion.
Okay.
I don't know if like it just might be me, but like certain guitarists and stuff, it's like I'm a guitarist and I like that's like how we learn how to play guitar, just like listening to really crazy talented guitarists, and not to say that they're like not musical, but like I think there's some guitarists that just like they're just playing solos to play solos.
That's it, man.
They're not like necessarily
behind it.
So there's that. I feel like sometimes you can get lost in the element of learning technique, and then you lose. You're like music's like an abstraction over feelings, right? Like emotions, like, and it's like sometimes like you're just worried about the details in the abstraction, and you lose the feeling.
Man,
so
100%, man. I feel I'm not super schooled in music theory, but I feel it when, and this is only my gauge, but certain music, it's just like, it's put on. Like, I won't like it because it's like, I just can't feel it. I feel like it has no soul behind it.
Yeah, and it's like, it's at the end of the day, you feel it or you don't. Like, there's no like, oh, but this band was like, the context, like, oh, they did all this. Like, if I don't feel it, it's like, whatever. I don't necessarily care that they played 1 billion notes in a second. Like, it's cool, but like
that's the coolest thing too. Like there's so many different types of music, and it can.
And I get that, like there's different. You have to like get into certain things for sure, but like, there's
a lot of excitement in music, in consuming it and creating it.
Yeah.
And I guess that's I could period point everything with that. Like, I see you playing shows, and it's so fun to sit and talk. Like, we could probably talk for 2 hours about why it's cool. But that's,
sorry I'm going too on.
No, man, that's just it, man. Like, I'm sure we could keep going, but if I'm being honest, I have to go to jam. I'm going to close this off.
Yeah, no worries,
and I
no
gotta
worries.
Jam, but, dude.
It's really nice talking to you.
Thank you for doing it.
My hand's a bit sweaty. I'll do it with this hand.
There, low five. All right, cheers.
Right
All right, so that was the episode, guys. Hope you dug it. Again, the shout outs to the sponsors. If you guys can show them love on Instagram or Facebook or anything, that would be super tight. Just so they can see. I'm not sure if you guys are all buying stuff or not, but it'd be super cool just to even show them any sort of attention. Heartbeathotsauce.com for the hot sauce. Use the promo TakerWide5. DFA Tattoos in Montreal, 328 St. Catherine Est in Montreal for some dope-ass tattoos. Kevin Rigo of Hefner Toyota out in Kitchener, 3121 King Street East. Mention the show, you'll get special pricing on new vehicles. We have Ironclad Graphics, who are a sponsor. They're a screen printing company in Kingston, ship coast to coast, affordable, quality products, t-shirts, patches, koozies, hats, inserts, bunch of shit. Been doing it for a long time. DapperBeardOil.com for the beard oil. Taker Wide Free Ship is the promo code for free shipping. Go find him, like him, say hi. Wellington Brewery for the beers, and DaveLevittPhotography.ca for the love and moral support. I don't know. These are fun. This is still a rad thing to do. Thank you guys very, 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 very much for listening. Again, let me know how I can improve the show. If you haven't yet, follow me on Instagram. Go to the homepage, sign up for the newsletter. If you guys could, I'm just sending out once a week the episode with highlighted items and actually more savings. Like some of the sponsors have given me different promo codes or other mentions that you can use to save money. So it's just take 5 minutes, takerwide.com. And go sign up. The shirts are available. Takerwide.bigcartel.com or again Takerwide.com. Order a shirt, sport some dope art, and what else was I gonna say? I think that's it. I feel like there was something else. Oh yeah, the show's on Spotify now, so I'm not sure how you're hearing this, but it's fucking super dope that now it's on Spotify. So just trying to get it out to you guys. I'm rambling. This is 229. I love you. Have a great, great week. Hug your friends. Call your parents. Tell them you love them. And that's it, man. Just fucking keep being rad. And thank you guys. I'll see ya. Peace.